Today we're going to be ranking every Call of Duty Zombies perk from worst to best.
We didn't count anything for Black Ops 4 or any other ones after Black Ops 3 because we didn't really play them. It's not fair. And we also counted Double Tap and Double Tap 2 as two separate perks.
And I'm Jason.
And I'm Ethan.
And let's get right into it. So we got 14 here, and I'll kick it off. Number 14. The worst perk in Call of Duty Zombies is by far Who's Who. Like, it was, it only appeared in one map, right? Like, it only appeared in one
It was
map.
Die Rise.
Die
And
Rise.
I agree with it because that's what I had Who's Who at. I thought it was absolutely terrible. I hated the perk. It was a cool concept,
Yeah.
but the way it was executed and the map it was on was terrible. You'd go to revive yourself and fall off the map, and then that's it. You're screwed.
Yeah, and all you had was a pistol. Like, you couldn't do anything. Like, it would have made way more sense if you had, like, your original guns so that you could at least fight back. But
and then to have to try to revive yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you literally just, like, if you made it to yourself and you, like, could just jump into your body, great. That actually would have probably made the perk fantastic. But the fact you had to sit there and revive yourself while the zombies were still hitting you, like, it did nothing.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Really, yeah, big flop. The whole map entirely, Die Rise, big flop all around.
Yeah,
so
there's no competition.
So, number 13 for me, I'm going to go Deadshot Daiquiri.
Oh, really now?
Yeah,
Okay.
like, when I was just thinking about it, honestly, I don't think, like, any perk, like, I don't think any of these top 13 are bad. I don't think the only one that I say is actually bad is Who's Who. Deadshot, when I just look at it, like, the maps that Deadshot was on, I would just grab 4 other perks before I would touch Deadshot. I would never just say, okay, I need Deadshot. Like, cool perk, but never really needed.
Right. That makes sense. You know, for my number 13, I ended up going with Tombstone. I didn't like Tombstone at all. I mean, yeah, it was nice because if you bought 3 perks and bought Tombstone and died, you could go back and get another set of perks and, like, stack up. But it was a good concept for transit, but I mean, I could never really get into it because if you died out in the fog, you had to run back out in the fog to get your shit.
Right.
You know, like, it was not really worth it in the long run because you'd probably die again before you got there.
Yeah.
If you died out in the fog with all your perks like Juggernog and stuff, there's probably a reason that you died, and you're not going to make it without it. So I think Tombstone was a flop.
I don't see any complaints about that. Number 12 for me. Give me Stamina Up. Yeah, really? Like, it always comes down to, like, is it needed? Is it needed for me? And like, all the maps that Stamina Up appears on, the only map where I say, like, maybe you need it would maybe be Transit, or no, not Transit, I'm sorry, Ascension. You could say that you need it for Origins. It's a decent perk tab for Origins.
Yeah, I can see that.
But overall, there's just, like, I remember it being announced, and I was just like, that's all it does. So you just, run a bit faster. It's, like, lightweight. It was cool, but, I mean, not anything that really broke the ground or anything.
Right. I can agree with that. Number 12 for me, I ended up doing Deadshot. So I'm not much higher than you, but
yeah,
I gave it a little bit of love. I thought Deadshot was a cool concept. I will say, I always did like the way the machine looked. I did like the machine, but it just wasn't really that good. Like, what was it? All it did was auto aimed at the heads, right?
Yeah.
I think the later, like, the Cold War one was when it actually made it, like, shoot for the head or something. Whatever it was, it did differently that they upgraded it. But we're not counting that one. We're just counting the ones through BO3. And it just wasn't worth it, you know? Like you said, I would just buy 4 other perks first.
Agreed, completely. So that brings me to number 11. I'll go with Double Tap, the original Double Tap.
I said that too, actually, for number 11.
Yeah, it's a really bad, well, not a bad perk, but, like, when you compare it to Double Tap 2, which we'll get into later, it's just not good. And comparing it to the original, like, 3 perks, Speed Cola, Quick Revive, Juggernaut, like, there's nothing that, like, the other 3 blows Double Tap V1 out of the water. There's nothing. It's just waste your ammo in the end, really. Like, you're not really, like...
Yeah, all you're doing is shooting, I think it was like 33% faster. There was no other bonus. I mean, I really did like the perk at first because, we didn't have Double Tap 2. And I always liked shooting faster because it was like, yeah, cool, fast. And I really liked the machine. I like the machine, and I love the jingle. It's probably one of my favorite perk jingles. But, it just doesn't hold up to some of the newer perks or, to anything else. I would rather grab something else.
Yeah. So number 10 for me, so far we have a pretty equal list. I actually have Tombstone at number 10.
Oh, okay.
I think Tombstone, when it first came out, I thought it was a really stupid perk. Thought it was not good. I would have put it like 13th as well if I was being asked this like 10 years ago. But going back and looking at it, honestly, I think if Tombstone was like on a different map, like it would have been good. But because of transit, like Tombstone, you have to run around to get your stuff back. You have to find your stuff back.
Yeah.
And running around in transit is not good because of, the fog and it's just such a big map. But if you put like Tombstone on Kino, that would be a great perk, like low
Oh
key.
yeah. Yeah, one of the smaller maps. Oh, you'd be set.
Yeah, which is why I wish they would have like implemented it on some like smaller maps. And I mean it's good for like town if you just play town by
Right.
itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good
That
there.
actually probably is the only good map for it that it's on.
Yeah. So that's why I gave it a little bit of love because I feel like it's kind of like underrated just because of the map it was on. Really bad map to implement it.
Yeah. Honestly, anything associated with transit kind of got shit on right from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
But that takes me into my number 10. My number 10, I said Widow's Wine. I actually was not much of a fan of Widow's Wine. I mean, it's cool. It replaces your grenades with like the cobweb balls or whatever they are. And when you get hit, it explodes. That's a nice feature.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, I don't. What else did it do? I think that was all it did, right?
An attacking zombie will be immobilized by a sudden burst of webs. You get those,
The grenades,
yeah, the
right?
sticky grenades. It slows zombies down and gives the player more time to escape. It also gives players higher knife damage.
Oh, does it? See, I didn't know that about it, but again, I still don't think I would rank it above any of the other ones that I have above it.
Interesting.
I never really got into it, like I think it showed up in every Black Ops 3 map that
Yeah.
they gave us, and I still wouldn't have picked it over the ones that I had.
Okay. My number 9, I would say, is actually the beta version of Widow's Wine. And I would say that's Electric Cherry.
Oh,
I
really?
liked Electric Cherry, but I don't think it was that great. It was a cheap perk, and it was good for
Mhm.
Mob of the Dead and Origins. It was good. It also appeared in BO3, but I feel like it just stunned a zombie, and it didn't give you much time to really get away. Like if you were surrounded, it wouldn't just kill them, right? Like it doesn't just kill them. It just stuns them. So like if you're trapped, you're kind of trapped.
Right. I mean, yeah, I can see that, but it also I think it did more damage the more bullets you had in your magazine.
Oh yeah. That is true. That is
So
true.
I think it actually would kill some of them, but I mean, if you get on the higher rounds, yeah, I can see that you would just get stuck. That's
Yeah,
it,
which is
right?
why that's why I put I'll get more into Widow's Wine later, but that's why I put Widow's Wine above because I feel like it's better for like getting out of danger if like
Okay.
you're surrounded by zombies. But I feel like the two are very like similar. Like
Yeah, in a sense, I can see how they are. I mean, they both kind of like save your ass.
yeah, honestly,
Because
they
on
could
Mob of the Dead, you would, like Mob of the Dead, if you're cornered, you're like first thing you're doing is reloading to try to get that stun on the zombie.
yeah.
I think we've all done it. All right, my number 9, I said Stamina Up. So
Okay.
again, not much higher than yours, but I gave it a little extra love. Yeah, it was good. I did like it because it was nice. You got that quick burst, and you did kind of need it on Ascension. Some areas you had to try and like sprint through real quick, and there were a couple times where you just get fucked not having it. But sadly, all it does is just make you sprint faster, and I think walk faster too, right? Or is
I
it just
think
sprint?
so. Yeah, walk faster while aiming.
Yeah, but still, that's just not compared to the others. It's just not really much of a fight. There's
Yeah.
not much else to really say about it other than that just makes you walk fast, and yeah, that's nice and all, but
8 for me. I went with Mule Kick. I like Mule Kick. It's good. But Mule Kick was introduced in a weird time, where like you really didn't need it a lot of the time. Like it's hard because Mule Kick is kind of just like a fun perk. Like if you
yeah,
want a third gun.
yeah, I can understand that. And honestly, the weird thing to me was when they added Mule Kick on Moon, they went back and they put it on every map,
Mm-hmm.
including like Nocturne Totem. And that never made sense to me. I don't know why every map all of a sudden had to have Mule Kick, but not any of the other perks that were introduced. For my number 8, I actually said Quick Revive.
Wow. Okay.
Now, Quick Revive is nice for solo. It is nice to have because then you can, get somebody up real quick, or you can get yourself up real quick. My bad. But then, like on like when you're playing with other people, yeah, you revive people quicker, and it's nice because you can get in and out of danger quicker. But that's the only use it has on multiplayer. On single player, all it does is revive you. It's like it's practically a one trick pony. You know, some of the
Yeah.
other perks they have a lot of multiple uses, and I've just never really been a fan of it, honestly.
Number 7 for me is PhD Flopper.
Hmm.
And honestly, the only reason why it's this high is because of you could use the ray gun with it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
huge.
only thing I liked about it. I really don't care about the dolphin dive explosion.
You blasphemous heathen.
Yeah, like it's cool, but not needed, which is kind of like a reoccurring theme for my list. It's not really needed to have that explosion dolphin dive. Um,
Right.
but that was like all it would do. Like it was cool, but like in like actuality, I mean, it's not even like that's not even that cool. Like I feel like Treyarch was like ran out of ideas for perks all the time. Like who's
Yeah, it was
who?
probably almost like they just had to add something to make it interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, number 7 for me, I said, Mule Kick.
Okay.
Like you said, it was more or less for fun. It was just very strange they went back and added it to all the maps that didn't need it.
Mhm.
When, like, they introduced Deadshot or Flopper or Stamina Up, and they only showed up on those maps. But then you had, like, Nocturnes, Houghton, Verrucht, Kino Newman, Doris all got Mule Kick, but, what was the point?
Yeah.
That, like, I understand, like, you wanna add more guns, that's fine, but there's no real reason for it. But for the perk itself, I mean, I liked it because it was a good perk. The only thing I didn't like was that when you died, you lost a random gun. I
True.
feel like it should have been the 3rd gun that you got. So, like, if I had a ray gun and a thunder gun, and then I pick up, like, a LMG, like, say, the HK or whatever from Kino, I should have lost the HK when I died, not the ray gun or the thunder gun that I already had before I bought the perk.
Yeah.
Now I can understand if, like, okay, if it was whatever the most recent gun you took was, but the fact you just lost a random gun was, like, the biggest to me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that's
you're
why I
right.
put Mule Kick at number 7.
Yeah, had its flaws. I feel like these are like the top perks now for me. Number 6
Right.
for me is Speed Cola.
Wow, that's actually a little lower than I expected.
Yeah, which I was kind of thinking about as I went through the list. Maybe I did underrate it, I will say. But it increases your reloading speed, which is kind of essential. Like I feel like on most maps, probably all the maps, Speed Cola is essential to have. So
Right.
I did put it a little low, but it's a very like self-explanatory perk, one that's definitely needed, especially in like the early days, BO1, BO even BO2, really.
And,
Um,
like, World of War, man, when you had the fucking
yeah,
Browning or the MG42 and shit, god, those things took forever to reload.
yeah, that's true actually. But yeah, that's why I put it at number 6. It's really not based on like it's anything wrong with it. Like there's nothing wrong with Speed Cola. It's just my
See,
preference.
I can see that. Number 6, I mean, I'm gonna agree with you there. I think all the ones 6 and above are, like, top tier for me.
Mhm.
I put Flopper.
Mhm.
I put PhD Flopper because I actually really loved it. I love the dolphin dive and the explosions. I thought that was a actual, like, really cool add-on to it. Because yeah, they could have just made it, like, prevent splash damage, but that was cool that they went ahead and did that flopping part because that's part of the perk, but,
Yeah.
it was nice to survive the explosions and, it really did make the ray gun usable because at that point, you could just spray the shit around you and hope for the best. You didn't have to worry about dying, and that was huge.
Kind of crazy that it was only on like two maps, Origins, three
Uh,
maps, or Origins and
no,
Ascension, right?
I think it was on Call of the Dead.
Yeah, but look,
I for some reason remember seeing it in the lighthouse, but I could be wrong.
yeah. Call of the Dead, Shangri La, Moon. Okay, it was in a lot of maps actually,
Oh,
but
wasn't it?
it just wasn't on like any maps like BO2 and forward. It wasn't on like
Right, because that was when they
yeah.
introduced sliding shit.
Yeah, they got rid of it, which is like they probably should have brought it back a bit more, like instead of
Mhm.
teasing it all the time. But yeah. So number 5 for me, top 5 Widow's Wine. I absolutely love Widow's Wine actually. It's one of my favorite perks to have in BO3. I love like what you were saying about it. I genuinely loved like the addition of it. I love the spider webs and like I loved how I don't know. For me, it was just like an essential perk to have. And it like you could get out of very dangerous situations with it. which is the only thing I really cared about. Didn't really care about the knife effect or the other like grenade effect. Um, but really cared about the ability to train and like if you got stuck, you would have a chance to get out of it.
Number 5, I put Electric Cherry.
Okay.
I actually really loved Electric Cherry. I thought it was a phenomenal map to introduce it on with Mom of the Dead. I mean, it really was like the perfect map because of all the tight hallways and everything. And like I've said before, when you get a reload, the more ammo you have, the better. Because I reload after like every zombie I kill. I just that's it. I
Mm-hmm.
can't help it. It's just like an impulse to just tap the square button and reload. So I'm just like, okay, something that actually like helps me when I reload and I stand a chance. Because it did stun them. It gave you a little bit of time to finish your reload and start popping some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love the color schemes of it, And there was nothing more satisfying than seeing the electric shoot up around you when you reloaded.
Yeah. Yeah, we basically just had Electric Cherry and Widow's Wine.
Flipped
Flipped,
almost.
yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah.
okay.
Number 4 for me is Double Tap
Mm,
2. I love Double Tap 2. I don't think I ran it very often.
mm,
But the upgrade it got is like it made it like an essential perk. You basically got to kill more zombies for free. Like once you had it, like
right, yeah.
you were able to destroy zombies, and it was in like so many maps. And it was fixed. It was like actually fixed. Like it was broken in BO1. Absolutely not needed.
It was because like it really was just a waste. But
Yeah.
once they made it shoot 2 bullets at a time, that was when it really like caught everybody's attention. So
Yeah.
for my number 4, I actually put Speed Cola.
Okay.
I feel like Speed Cola is an essential. I believe every map I would grab Jug, Double Tap, 2, and Speed Cola. Hell, actually, I would even grab the Double Tap originally before it was, upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, Speed Cola is always an essential for me. I mean, with a lot of the bigger guns, the ones that are actually going to hold more ammo and do more damage, like the LMGs, you need that quick reload. And if you paired that shit with, Electric Cherry, you could literally just spam that reload and keep going real quick. Like you could get everybody around you in 10 seconds with that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's one of the iconic perks. Like it really is iconic.
Yeah,
You see the
probably.
logo,
Yeah.
you know what it is.
Second most iconic, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3 for me. Top three best perks in zombies history. Number 3 is Vulture Aid.
I got the same
Um,
thing with that, actually. I put
such a
Vulture
good
at number
perk.
3. It was.
Such a
It
great
was.
perk.
It's really upsetting they only put it in buried.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I feel like just because it's a hard, I feel like they just, I don't want to say laziness, but like it's a hard perk to implement because you got to add so many things about it. Like,
That's what was cool about it was there was so much that you gained from it.
mm-hmm.
You could see the chalk outlines of weapons. You could see the mystery box. You could pick up ammo. You could pick up money. There was like the green goo you could stand in to be invisible, and you could see like zombie outlines or their eyes better or whatever it was. All in all, it was a phenomenal perk for the perfect map, and really I've really been hoping for it to have a comeback, but
Yeah.
here we are, 10 years later, and it still hasn't come back yet.
Yeah. Dude, that green gas of cloud that you could stand
Hmm.
in literally made you invincible. Like you were literally invincible for like 10 seconds or 5
Yeah,
seconds or whatever. So like no, it was a must have on buried. Maybe an overpowered perk even. Um
for
literally
real.
perfect perk. Like and perks, a lot of the perks they only have like one use, but this was the first perk that really had like, oh, it's so much you can do with it. So much you can do with it.
Yeah, for real. Like there literally was like 6 different things that this perk did at once for you.
Love it.
Yes, and
100%. Which that brings to number 2. My number 2 perk, second best perk ever, is Quick Revive, actually.
I
I stand Quick Revive. I love Quick Revive. Well, honestly, it's not a perk I would grab a lot in our multiplayer games, but I will say like it is a like for how big it is in single player, like you can't go without it. Like you literally cannot go without it. Like that is one of
right.
your perks no matter what you do in single player. And being able to revive faster is nice, but just the necessity it is in solo, literally it lets you die 3 times. Like that's OP for solo players. Um, so I had to put it there.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, it is essential. For me, I put double tap 2 at number 2. I always loved double tap, and once they upgraded it, that was just like the Hail Mary for me. I loved it. You know, it's they nailed it with the song. I really love the song for whatever reason. It just rings in my head today. You know, what was it, 12 years after I first heard it or whatever it was. It's the I can almost sing it to the cue, you know? It was such a good perk to use too, you know, you got the 2 bullets with 1 shot, and it still speeds up your reload time or not reload, firing time. That's huge. I
Yeah.
mean, that is just, you get any gun, you can mow anything with it.
Yeah, double tap 2 is a essential perk. Like
Yeah.
really essential perk. Like that's one of the first times, probably the first time that they revamped the perk
I
and
think it was actually. I think
it,
it was the only time.
yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think they did
Well, except
start
for
doing
the
it in newer games.
I was gonna say, like, with Cold War, I know you can upgrade the perks and stuff, but for, like, a basic perk that you don't upgrade yourself that they literally just implemented,
Yeah.
I think that was the only one.
A much needed improvement to be
Yes.
honest. Like it finally made it balanced with like speed cola and my
It
number
put it
one.
on that par.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we all know what it is. It's, like, the most important perk in zombies.
Yeah, literally the most overpowered. Like Juggernog. Like
Yep.
you can't like I mean honestly anybody playing Call of Duty Zombies knows that it's the number one perk. Like it's not even a challenge. Like it's essential. Like you only get 4 perks, you know, and this is one of the perks you take every time, no matter
For
what.
real.
So
You're the only time you'll never get jug is if you're trying to do some challengers. It really is like an essential it is the essential perk for zombies. They nailed it with the design, they nailed it with the logo, which is basically just the Juggernaut logo from World at War. But now that is so iconic, you'll never not see it.
yeah,
And you know, even the machine. I got that little mini fridge that they put out with Black Ops, what was it, 2
I think
when they
so.
released it, and it's cool as shit. I mean, it's really is that iconic that they made a mini fridge out of it, you know?
Yeah, true. It is super iconic, actually. Like, yeah, literally one of the first things you think about when you think of zombies. But that is our list. Pretty different list actually, up until like the final stretch. Number
Alright,
one.
alright. If you liked what you saw, just like and subscribe, and if you have any ideas for us, just list them, and we'll see what else we can get done for you.
All right, bye.